You're listening to the Riffcord podcast.
Let's wrap up this discussion with Toronto music writer Dave McPherson. Let's get personal, talking about being in recovery, something that's very close to my heart. I've been blessed in my career. I was able to work on mental health training materials for a first responder agency in my part of the world, where a number of people carry psychological and emotional pain over the things that they've done while they're rescuing us, and I consider it one of the good projects of my career, and something that I feel very strongly about. So David and I here talk about the importance of mental health. I just wanted to record a quick intro to let you know that I do mention in there two brothers who are great Canadian singers, called Oliver and Sebastian Pigott. But in the recording studio, I refer to Sebastian as Simon. That's not his name. His name is Sebastian Pigott. But I'll include a link to that the song I'm referring to. It's a good one, and it affected me. All right, here we go into the end. Thanks, everyone.
You're listening to the Riffcord podcast.
Just in preparing for this discussion today, we made a list of life transformative experiences, and you mentioned entering recovery in tell me the year, please. Sorry.
2015.
2015, and I just want to mention that is something that's close to my heart and to my wife Krista's heart. She worked at the Center for Addiction and Mental Health in Toronto, and then for a private facility called Renaissance. And I just wanted to share the story that Renaissance, at one of their fundraising events, did you know CBC at their headquarters on Front Street in Toronto has a small studio in the front, like for an audience, for a concert, and they had Gordon Lightfoot. And being in the room with Gordon Lightfoot, it really he wasn't part of our household music list, but apparently we were rare because everyone else that was in that small room, he was on their in their household.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I discovered Lightfoot through my dad's vinyl records. There
you go.
Listening to Sundown and Carefree Highway.
Exactly. And the venue is small enough that you could go up to him and talk to him after, and people were really like starstruck to be in the same room with him. And then the other act was Canadian Idol a few years ago had these. They were brothers called Pigott brothers, Simon and Oliver Pigott. I think it was Oliver Pigott.
Okay.
And the song was you can look it up on YouTube. It was let me walk you to the water, and it's about that you're so broken that you can't carry yourself, but I will carry you. And that's like almost as close to a religious experience that I've ever had, right? And the story of recovery really had those religious undertones that you are broken, but in the end you will be saved, right?
Yeah, there is definitely that aspect. I think in many ways we are all of us are broken people, right? And some of us just hide it more than others. And I think for me, part of my journey of recovery, for me it was alcohol that I became powerless over, and it was becoming too consuming in my life. And again, I'm thankful to my wife and family and others for helping me realize that, and to take the necessary steps to get the help and support. And it's a journey like anything else, but once I've gone through that, and it's something, today it's one day at a time is how I live and deal with that, because like any addiction, it's not something you can ever, get rid of, especially something like alcoholism. It is a disease, but it's something that you just, as long as you have the tools and you work at it, it's something you can be in recovery for the rest of your life, and it's a wonderful feeling, and I'm really grateful for that, because it's I think this book, I don't know if it would have come about or been as strong had I not made this step. It's kind of right during the process, and everything else has really got so much better because of that.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that. That was my hope in raising it, is that you can inspire people out there who are in similar situations to find their path forward and have the successes that you've had. So thank you.
No problem. And that's partly why, there was a time where I felt, do I want to share or should I share? And that is, as you mentioned, the only reason I do share. And I think honesty is important, and telling, your story. It has happened already where, I've, whether it's sharing sometimes on social media, I've had a few people say, thanks for that. I've been struggling with something myself. You have inspired me to, maybe I need to take a look at my own life or my own, demons, as you say. And, so, thanks for, giving me that little push I needed.
Yeah. Well done. Well said, David. That's David McPherson, a Canadian writer and journalist. Look for the book on Amazon or Indigo. The Legendary Horseshoe Tavern, A Complete History by David McPherson. Thank you, David.
Thanks, Paul. It's been a real pleasure chatting today.
Okay, all the best.
The Riff Chord Podcast.